Stay with us, because this story touches the future of the WNBA, labor peace, and the global growth of women's basketball. Do you think Adam Silver should take a hands-on role in the WNBA's next collective bargaining agreement? Would international games in Macau or mainland China boost the league or distract from unfinished business at home? Drop your take in the comments, share this report with a Hoops fan, and subscribe for ongoing coverage of the WNBA, CBA, media rights, and women's sports business. The headline development is impossible to miss. Adam Silver is moving to ensure there is no WNBA lockout, and he's signaling a more direct role in the league's most important conversations. After months of strained communication, stalled meetings, and growing frustration among players and owners, the NBA commissioner has begun to act as the backstop, part mediator, part strategist, for a women's league that has built real momentum and can't afford a misstep. This shift comes amid widespread concern about leadership and communication around the WNBA's next collective bargaining agreement. According to multiple people around the league, patience had worn thin. The players wanted clarity on revenue sharing, travel upgrades, and media rights. Owners wanted a clear plan and proactive negotiation. The public wanted signals of stability. The commissioner's office, led by Cathy Engelbert, faced ongoing questions about responsiveness. While Engelbert has overseen real growth in sponsorships and media attention, the perception gap grew. Players and stakeholders repeatedly said they needed more engagement, not fewer answers. Into that vacuum stepped Silver. In recent weeks, the NBA commissioner has made it clear behind the scenes, and increasingly in public, that he will not allow a WNBA lockout to derail the league's trajectory. He has the authority to convene, the relationships to unlock stalemates, and the incentive to see this through. The NBA and WNBA share sponsors, broadcast partners, and a broader growth narrative. Turbulence on the women's side reflects on both properties. Silver understands that as well as anyone. There is also a notable personal dimension. Prominent players have said publicly that they hear directly from Silver on significant milestones, new deals, family news, retirements. That basic outreach has meaning. It signals attention, respect, and a baseline of relationship management that matters in modern sports. Several high-profile athletes have contrasted that with gaps in engagement from the WNBA commissioner's office. No single anecdote defines an administration, but together they shaped a perception that helped open the door to Silver's more visible presence. Then came a telling on-camera moment. During a courtside appearance in Macau, Silver said out loud what many had suspected. The league is actively exploring the first official WNBA games in Asia, potentially in Macau and mainland China. He noted the scale of women's basketball interest in China and suggested that once a new CBA is in place, the league would be eager to bring the women's game to the region. The message inside the message was unmistakable. While domestic CBA work continues, the NBA's top executive is mapping a global stage for the WNBA, thinking beyond the current friction to sponsorship, distribution, and audience growth overseas. The business logic is straightforward. The NBA's decades-long international strategy, pioneered by David Stern and carried forward by Silver, created massive new audiences and revenue streams. Women's basketball is well-positioned to follow. A WNBA showcase in China or Macau would be a first, a historic statement of ambition, and a tangible step toward global sponsorship and media partnerships. It would also deliver precisely what players have been asking for: visibility, investment, and respect. At the same time, the suggestion of international expansion underscored an uncomfortable contrast. If the WNBA can plot international exhibitions, surely it can finalize a labor deal that keeps the league on the floor. That is where Silver's involvement becomes decisive. People familiar with the process expect him to sit in on upcoming negotiations, not merely as a ceremonial presence but as a lead voice ensuring momentum. Sources indicate he is assembling legal and financial expertise to backstop the talks, with a simple mandate: remove any plausible path to a lockout. The core issues are well known. Players want fairer revenue participation, modernized travel, particularly charter flights, stronger free agency protections, and media investments that reflect current demand. Owners want predictable costs, a rising valuation environment, and disciplined expansion that grows the pie. Both sides want stability to capitalize on the surge in interest, attendance highs, merchandise spikes, and a ratings lift tied to emerging stars. The Caitlin Clark effect is real. So are the follow-on benefits of spotlighting Aya Wilson, Candace Parker, Sabrina Ionescu, and an increasingly marketable cohort of young talent. The timing is as urgent as it is promising. A lockout would cut across all of that. It would drain momentum, complicate sponsor renewals, and invite skepticism just as casual fans are tuning in. Silver's calculation appears clear. The reputational risk to the WNBA, and by extension to the NBA, far outweighs the cost of direct intervention. A clean CBA, faster communication, and a credible path to international showcases would send the opposite signal. Women's basketball is not just trending, it is scaling. Publicly, Silver remains diplomatic. He has praised Engelbert's role in the league's growth and avoided any suggestion of a hostile takeover. Privately, the balance of influence is shifting. This is not about titles. It is about outcomes. Silver can take the wheel without changing the name on the door. That's a familiar play in professional sports governance. Step in, stabilize, and let the institution keep its shape while the strategy evolves behind it. The global dimension carries risk and reward. The NBA's experience with China, interrupted after the 2019 controversy and rebuilt over time, offers both a cautionary tale and a roadmap. The audience is enormous. The appetite for basketball is sustained. Navigating sensitivities requires care. Silver has shown he can do that. His tone on Macau and China was measured. First secure a CBA, then unlock international opportunities already lined up. That ordering matters. It prioritizes labor peace while signaling bigger horizons once the ink is dry. The owners, for their part, appear relieved to see a steady hand. Many have said privately they want direction and speed. They know the WNBA's opportunity is time-sensitive. They also know that the league office, the union, and broadcast partners need to align on a message quickly. The WNBA is open for business, at home and abroad. Silver can deliver that alignment because he has already delivered it at NBA scale, with players, governors, and international stakeholders who don't always agree on much. There is also a practical reason Silver sounds confident when asked about lockout odds. He is not merely optimistic. He is preparing. People close to the process describe a parallel track. While negotiators refine terms, commercial teams are modeling revenue scenarios, potential travel upgrades, and sponsorship layers that activate the moment a deal is signed. That is what no lockout looks like operationally. The negotiators talk, the business teams load the runway. If that alignment holds, expect a CBA framework that addresses 4 pillars. First, revenue participation that scales with league income, giving players a more direct stake in growth. Second, travel standards that phase in charter and premium options in a financially sustainable way. Third, a media plan that prioritizes prime windows, consistent scheduling, and integrated streaming distribution. Fourth, a global showcase strategy that includes pre-season or mid-season exhibitions in select markets, Macau or mainland China among them, paired with local sponsors and broadcast partners. All of this comes with a caveat. International expansion will not substitute for domestic consistency. Fans and partners want to know that marquee matchups have predictable windows and that star players have the support they need to stay healthy. That is why the CBA remains the first order of business. Silver's Macau remarks were something else, a forward-looking signal to the market that the WNBA intends to play offense, not just defense. It is also worth remembering that Silver's involvement does not erase the work Engelbert and her team have done to stabilize finances, add partners, and elevate media coverage. Growth is a relay. Handoffs matter, and so do optics. Silver has been careful to avoid any suggestion of a purge. That restraint helps the league focus on outcomes, not personalities. The timing could not be more critical. The WNBA surge, accelerated by Caitlin Clark's entry and the continued excellence of Aya Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, and others, has created the kind of mainstream visibility the league has long pursued. A labor standoff would squander it. A fast, credible agreement would multiply it. The broader women's sports landscape also matters. Brands are making multi-year commitments to women's soccer, volleyball, golf, and collegiate NIL. Media companies are carving out inventory for women's sports windows. The WNBA can anchor that calendar, but only if it projects continuity. That is the subtext of Silver's intervention. The league cannot, and will not, lose time. There is a secondary storyline here: tone. Silver communicates like an operator who has learned not to inflame. He gives credit publicly, pushes privately, and sells the big picture while the details get hammered out elsewhere. The players notice. So do partners. That is why, when he speaks about the WNBA playing in Macau or mainland China very soon, the market listens. It hears a plan, not a placeholder. For fans who have waited years for the WNBA to crest this wave, the message is finally coherent. The chaos is receding. Negotiations will move. Media plans will firm up. International showcases will expand the pie. Players will be treated like the professionals they are, with the travel and scheduling that implies. Owners will have a roadmap to invest against. And the NBA will stand behind the league in ways both visible and subtle. None of that guarantees a frictionless process. Labor deals never are. But it does reframe the next 6 to 12 months, not as a countdown to a lockout, but as a runway to a modernized WNBA, domestically anchored and globally curious. In the end, this is not just about one commissioner stepping in for another. It is about protecting momentum, professionalizing a product, and sending a clear message to fans and partners. Women's basketball belongs on the biggest stages we can find. That is what Adam Silver is moving to secure. That is why this matters beyond a single news cycle. What do you think the top priority should be in the new WNBA CBA? Revenue sharing, charter flights, media scheduling, or something else? Would you support official WNBA games in Macau or mainland China as part of a global expansion strategy? Add your thoughts below. If this report helped clarify the stakes, share it with a friend and subscribe for updates on the WNBA CBA timeline, media rights negotiations, sponsorship news, and the international growth of women's basketball.